Dave Kinchin spoke to a former Secret Service agent. He is joining us live with more. And yes, still days later, a lot of questions, Dave.
Yeah, Taryn, a lot of questions. I do know this much for sure. When you talk with a former or current Secret Service agent, they take great pride in the work they do and their oath. So with this catastrophic security failure, you can imagine they have just as many questions as we do as well.
Anytime weapons have to come out, anytime shots are fired, clearly something was missed.
Jason Roso was a U.S. Secret Service agent for 8 years, protecting Presidents Bush 43 and Obama, and worked many campaign rallies like the one held by former President Donald Trump this past Saturday in western Pennsylvania, where gunshots rang out with one striking Trump in the ear.
Usually you'll have agents show up for an event like that maybe 3 or 4 days ahead of time to and kind of the event or the visit is broken up into different pieces. So that site would have had an agent that was really assigned to set up all the security and coordinate all the security at that particular event site.
The big question, how on earth could the shooter, identified by authorities as 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks, ever get on top of a building and fire with a clear line of sight only about 400 feet from the former commander-in-chief? The feds say Crooks was outside the secured perimeter and bought 50 rounds of ammo right before opening fire.
The Secret Service does concern itself with what is outside of the perimeter. Obviously, those buildings were outside of the perimeter, but it doesn't mean that they were ignored. What it generally means is we try to deal with those threats in a different way by either deploying police officers, local police officers to monitor those areas, obviously deploying the counter snipers to keep visibility on those areas.
Russell also says the Secret Service might not have had approval to man the building the shooter ended up firing from.
It's a private business. You know, if you think about if the president were to go downtown Detroit, you wouldn't be able to close every business within 200 yards of where they're at, right? So anything that's outside of the swept perimeter, you're trying to control with other things. In this case, they were trying to control it with local police.
That's one huge part of the investigation. And here's another. Did the Secret Service and local police simply not have enough manpower? Russell says Saturday was a busy political day in Pennsylvania.
In Pennsylvania alone on Saturday, there were 3 Secret Service visits. The vice president was there, the first lady was there, and, former President Trump. So you already have all these law enforcement assets that are probably spread pretty thin. So, and Secret Service certainly spread thin because we're coming into the Republican National Convention and you have multiple visits. So I think, they're trying to do the best they can with the resources that they have.
Russell praises the agents who jumped into the line of fire immediately to protect President Trump.
When there's a threat, you're trained to put yourself between the threat and the person you're protecting, to cover them, to put yourself at risk, to make sure that they're not hurt.
Meantime, investigators are still digging into the shooter's past to answer key questions and find the motive.
We don't know his opinions or affiliations. We don't know whether he had help or support or if he communicated with anyone else.
So we do know the U.S. Secret Service is reviewing their procedures on that day. Local police departments, including state police in Pennsylvania, they are conducting internal reviews as well. And, of course, Congress, they want answers. The Committee on Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs in the Senate, chaired by Michigan's own Senator Gary Peters, will be taking up that side of it. Reporting live, Dave Kinchin, Fox 2 News.
Well, Dave, yes, the Secret Service has been under scrutiny for the last few days, but though it seems the Secret Service is still standing by its work, by its security, are we hearing about any possible changes that could come? Certainly when they're outside, it's a bigger risk.
Yeah, we do know at the convention they have put more agents involved at the RNC, which kicked off tonight, Republican National Convention in Milwaukee. However, at least there they say they are not extending the perimeter at outside events. It remains to be seen what may take place there in terms of changes.
Yeah, certainly troubling, though, all the way around, and hopefully changes to come. Dave Kinchin reporting live for us. Thank you.